In this video, we're going to cover the differences between the Animal Farm book and the movie and what it entails.
All right, let's talk about Animal Farm. You've got George Orwell's classic, a super sharp political story, and then you've got this brand new animated movie. So how did a really bleak warning about tyranny get reimagined into an inspiring adventure for a new generation? That's what we're digging into, and it brings up a huge question. When does adapting a story become, well, betraying it? This line right here, it's iconic for a reason. It is just so chilling. It's the perfect, creepy summary of a revolution that has totally gone off the rails. You know, it's that little twist in grammar that shows you exactly how ideals can be bent and broken to justify absolute power. It's pretty much the dark, beating heart of the whole story. So, how on earth did we get from the stark, serious-looking book on the left to this bright, colorful, family-friendly adventure on the right? The difference is, it's pretty jarring, right? And that visual contrast is really at the center of this whole debate. One promises a pretty grim lesson, and the other looks like, well, a fun romp. Okay, let's dive into this. To really get what's going on, we have to start with George Orwell himself. We need to understand what he was trying to do, because this was never, ever just a simple story about talking animals. Now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. Orwell was a democratic socialist, so his goal wasn't to attack socialism itself. No, he wanted to tear down what he called the Soviet myth. He wanted to send out this powerful warning about how any revolution, whether it's on the left or the right, can get corrupted by a power-hungry elite. And this is where you can see the real genius of Orwell's book. It is a super precise one-to-one allegory. Seriously, every key character, every major event, it all lines up with real history. The pig Napoleon, that's Joseph Stalin. His rival Snowball, that's Leon Trotsky. The rebellion against the farmer is the Russian Revolution, and those vicious dogs are the KGB. It was like a surgical strike on a very specific moment in history. Okay, so let's shift gears. We're going to fast forward to the new film and see how it builds on, or maybe a better word is rebuilds, the story for a modern, much younger audience. Because you'll see the filmmakers had a very, very different mission. So the director, Andy Serkis, said the goal was to retain the innocence of a fable. By choosing animation, they were hoping to make all those heavy political themes a little easier to digest. They framed it less like a specific historical allegory and more like a universal fairy tale. And that's a choice that really, intentionally, distances the story from its dark political roots. And of course, with that new fairy tale framing, you get a whole new message. The cast has talked about how they hope this version will empower young people. One of the actresses, Iman Vellani, said it shows that since broken systems are made by people, they can also be reinvented by people. See how that shifts the tone? It goes from a dire warning to an inspiring call to action. So, what are the biggest changes between the book and the movie? Let's break them down, because these are not just minor tweaks. These changes fundamentally alter what the story is even about. Oh, this one is just perfect. It tells you everything you need to know about the film's lighter, softer approach. The pig's first big step toward becoming human oppressors, drinking alcohol, gets watered down to drinking naughty juice. It's a small change, but it signals this massive tonal shift. It turns a symbol of real moral decay into, well, a silly childlike mistake. And the changes go way deeper than that. The whole story is set in modern times. Snowball is now a female pig. There's a brand new heroic piglet to be our guide through the story. And this one's a biggie. A new external villain is added, an evil billionaire. This completely shifts the story's focus. Remember, Orwell's whole warning was about corruption from within a revolution. Adding an outside billionaire turns it into a much simpler, more classic story of good versus evil. So how did critics react to this completely new vision? Well, as you might guess, with such a radical reinterpretation, the reception was, let's just say, it was sharply divided. Yeah, the professional critics, they were largely not fans. The film is sitting at just 36% on Rotten Tomatoes. A lot of reviewers basically argued that in trying to make the story more accessible, the filmmakers ironically stripped away the very power that made it a classic in the first place. This quote from the publication Consequence really just hits the nail on the head. They called the film a tonal nightmare, and their point was that it warps Orwell's bleak, complicated political message into a much too simple moral about, just being nice and helping each other out. So the crucial point is, This tonal confusion even spilled over into the film's marketing. Get this. Official merchandise included a bottle of glue named after Boxer, the loyal horse who gets tragically sold to a glue factory. For a lot of people, this one item just proved that the adaptation didn't really grasp the seriousness of the story it was trying to tell. It just turns this incredible tragedy into a dark, cynical joke. And all of this brings us to the most fundamental change of all. This is the one that really lies at the heart of the whole debate, the ending. Orwell's ending is one of the most powerful in all of literature. It's so pessimistic, so cyclical. The animals are looking from the pigs to the humans and back again, and they can't tell the difference anymore. The revolutionaries have become the tyrants. The whole point is that the cycle of power is unbroken. The movie, well, it completely inverts this. According to the reviews, it gives you a happy ending with a big action climax. The heroic animals, led by that new character Lucky, they successfully rebel and they break the cycle of corruption. It turns Orwell's cautionary tale into an uplifting story of triumph. You know, the filmmakers clearly wanted to inspire a new generation, but critics argue they did it by removing the very thing that made the story a classic, its unflinching, terrifying warning about how power works. So we'll leave you with that provocative thought. When does retelling a story for a new time become betraying its essential, timeless message?
I hope you got value from this video. Every like and subscribe is appreciated. Have a fantastic day.